Oh, okay, it's working now. I guess I just needed to turn it off and turn it back on. Sure, why not? Sure, why not? That's fine, I guess. I don't know what the deal was. I guess sometimes the machine just fucking shits itself. I don't know. Hello, welcome. Oh, you want me to play Kingdom Hearts music? Okay, sure. I don't mind. This is Life is Strange music. Let's go with Kingdom Hearts. I do gotta continue Kingdom Hearts. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. We'll keep going with the Kingdom of Hearts. Okay, we can try this mix. Oh, for the okay. Huh, it's kind of low. This is like Shion's theme, but I can barely hear it. Okay, well this is fun. All is dandy. Whoops. Oh god. Oh god. No, not a Maximilian dude stream. Whoops. Whoops. Hello, over. Welcome. Welcome. What are you buying? What are you selling? Oh, okay. So before we start, I'm trying to see. Is the music hearable? Can you hear? It's a little low. It's a tad low. I wonder if it's like something I can control from over here. Maybe it's something to do with my audio. Yeah, maybe it's like the video. Very weird. Turned up the audio for my section just a little bit. Hello, Faye. Are we allowed to talk about it? You've been on X, you know what it is. Actually, no. I don't know. What are you referring to? No, I literally don't know what are you referring to. That could be anything. Are you talking about like Reiji's new thing, Chibi? I have Chibi muted. I have Chibi muted. What do you do now? I actually don't know. I have him muted, so nothing from his feed comes into mine. Like, I just don't want to engage with him. Why? What the fuck did he do now? What fucking now? Dude, I don't know why. So this is a really blue shirt, but because of the green screen, it looks kind of like aqua-ish. It has like an aqua-ish tint. Basically taking the mask off, some shit, different day, back to Rent-A-Girlfriend. What? Oh. Okay. Did he like go full, I don't know, incel or something? I don't generally drink soda, but full what is it? Proper sugar soda is great. About that thread you wrote. Thread. I wrote a threat. I wrote a threat. That wasn't a thread, it was a threat. There we go. That's some relaxing Kingdom Hearts music. Shit. I forgot what I was gonna start with. Oh, we can talk about Reiji stuff really quick. So we can talk about Reiji stuff really quick. If I can fucking get to it. My thread was like 30 fucking posts long. There's this cute art from... I'll move myself. There's this cute art from this artist. Go support them. I really like their work. It's adorable. This is from... So, I've mentioned it before to you guys. Reiji has a teaching school that he's a part of. And they had like a meetup at an event where they were talking to people. So this is like the art they did for it. I think Reiji's at the center of it because he's like the... Like there's other teachers, of course, you can tell. But I think Reiji's like in the dead center because like he was one of the founders of it. Like he started it. Now this. So Comiket is coming up again and Reiji is going. He's selling these things right here. All of these, I have these. So this is the draft for Hawaiians. I think this one is the... I think this is the draft for Hawaiians. This is the draft for Shiyunji family. This is the draft for the Ruka stuff. And it's like the original draft for the Ruka stuff. And here, there's a new draft. This is for this is for chapter 426. And Reiji's selling point is that this is the first draft, and it's more erotic than the original, or the final draft that we got. So volume 426, Rikazi's beating his meat to Ruka, or sorry, not to Ruka, to an actress who looks like her. There's a more erotic version, I guess. So Reiji's, I'm gonna frame it like this: pumping a new one out. He's putting a new one out. And yeah, I mean, of course I'm gonna get it. Unfortunately, last I recall, the last time they did a Comiket event, these were not accessible through online orders. Last I checked. The last time I checked, these were not accessible through online orders. I could be wrong, but I don't recall getting the Ruka one through an online order. I had to get it secondhand. So I had to go to Buy E and I had to get it secondhand. The place I check is called Melon Books. They tend to have stuff there. Now be warned, Melon Books has everything. So not just manga, it has hentai, it has doujinshi, it has all that stuff. Now you can turn that feature off, but I'm just warning you ahead of time in case you're interested in checking Melon Books. Yeah, that stuff's there. Sometimes there's other places to order, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. Unfortunately, Reiji has not provided a link to an online order. Reiji did, here, let me pull it up. Where's the, fuck, how do you check the fucking quotes again? No, go away, go away. I don't want fucking grok. Stupid ass fucking name. View post activity. So Reiji quoted himself, and he's just literally like, episode 426, Impulse and Her final draft is actually not that erotic. I want you to read the first draft. Fucking what? Now, to be fair to Reiji here, bro, Kazi is literally watching porn. What did you think was gonna happen? Kazi is literally watching porn. What did you think was gonna happen? You need proxy for Melon Books, right? I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but at least with Melon Books, it's like directly from the authors themselves, like you're directly supporting them. That's the difference. I try to support Reiji directly as much as I can, but sometimes I just don't have the option, so I'm like, okay, I can't do anything about that. Like, I remember at the very least, the Shiyunji family one, I don't know why it was available on Melon Books. I don't know why it was, so I just bought it from there. I have no idea why. It just was. Now, I tend to not buy from Melon Books in general, mostly because, like, other places give better, like, bonuses. Like, for some reason, Gamers consistently has the best bonuses. And I don't fucking know why. Just Gamers consistently has it. Here, we can check right now. I can check if, like, Gamers has the shit. Where do I have Gamers open? I think right here. Okay. God, where do I press to open? Okay, I think here. What a clusterfuck of a site. Like, I don't know where to press to, like, just go home. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything here. It doesn't look like there's anything available. Reiji will usually mention if it is, but it generally isn't, you know? Like, I don't think we're gonna get it, like, through an online order. So, unfortunately, there's a high chance, like, if you want to get this, you'll have to get it secondhand. I've been thinking about a few different things to do for Patreon. I think one of them is I'll share some of that stuff. It tells me error 404. I can't even access Melon Books. I don't know. I can go. I'm just not going to do it here because there will be hentai shit. And I'm not risking that. I can go just fine. I don't use a VPN or anything. Maybe double check your URL. Maybe there's an issue with your URL. But yeah. Maybe Kazi gets his salad tossed. I don't know. Bro, have you seen JV or Japanese adult videos? Have you seen those? They get nuts. They go overboard. I'm trying my best not to be too descriptive. Again, a huge theme of the current structure of the story is the eroticism, and it's meant to cloud you. However, it's also something Reiji can sell. The manga is kind of like an interesting reflection of the narrative and what Reiji's talking about. It's, for example, rental is both synonymous with a lot of the modern day conflicts of social media, in particular the easy to access like stuff that that makes your relationships and your connections shallower. It literally changes like how you feel and how you think, while at the same time it's indicative of a problem, and it's just something people are working. You know, it's just a job people are working, and they're not wrong for working it. You know, both things can be true. I think the manga is kind of the same. Yes, Reiji is depicting stuff that is like overly erotic or maybe a little uncomfortable or depicting sexual assault. It doesn't mean it's not something to sell. It is also a product. And some people are into that weird eroticism. The Ruga thing, like, yes, let's talk about that real quick. The Ruga thing from chapter 403 to 405, like, the stuff that happens in that, understand, while Reiji is depicting sexual assault and in fact talking about it and criticizing it, there's also a lot of hentai that are just straight up, like, just that, but worse. Like, just infinitely worse. So Reiji is ultimately selling a product. Like, he knows this. So it's a double meaning. Yes, Reiji is criticizing it, and yes, he's also selling it. Because that's what it is. Reiji talked about in his Twitter space about how sex sells and how sex is so deeply rooted in like in our cultures. And he always also tries to talk about, it's like, okay, how do I approach this where people are good? Like he talked about like some of the stuff like where he tries to get on some trends that he finds interesting. So he like quotes them or does something with them, or he's like, people at first will say like, oh, this is bad, this is so wrong, but this is how Reiji thinks about it. He's like, in my head, it's like, yeah, they're saying it's bad, it's wrong, but then if you do this and if you do that, it's not that bad. It's my way of reasoning myself into it. And that's pretty much how Reiji kind of talks about it, you know, where he's willing to explore these topics and he's okay with selling them, and people will think he's fucking crazy, but he doesn't care. Or rather, less that he doesn't care, but more so that he knows it's something that like is worth exploring and talking about, or just something he wants to share and be involved in. Like that one time where he made this I think we talked about it, I don't remember. It's like the one where he did the trend where you touch a person in a specific place, and this is how they'll react, or this is what they'll do. And he did it for Chizuru, and it's like, I forgot, she like likes to be pet on the head or something, but then if you like touch her thigh or something, she'll fucking kill you or something like that. Yeah, I think it was the touch map. Yeah, and he was talking about that in like one of his things where he was just like, yeah, like people will find this wrong at first. Like your immediate reaction is that it's wrong, but it does work and people do watch it, so you know it's fine. And I get it. That does sound like, you know, that kind of reasoning where it's like a very slippery slope. Very slippery slope. Uh-oh. We're talking omega slippery slope. But yeah, that's kind of how I understand it. Like, Reiji knows the eroticism of the Ruka stuff absolutely sells, while at the same time, you know it's wrong. And Reiji's clearly going to talk about it in the manga and talk about why it's wrong. But it's still erotic and attractive, so people are gonna read it. And he's like, hey, here you go, I'm gonna sell you the Ruka stuff, have fun, kiddos. And some people won't like it, some people will. Like, I have the Ruka one, it's over there. I have it, it's over there. It's not that different, honestly. I was expecting it to be like really different. It's not that different, at least I don't think it is. But yeah, I do want this one because this is like one of the only Kazuya merch that Reiji's like made. So I definitely want this one. Maybe this is building up to a Chizuru one. We're gonna get a Chizuru one soon. Hey, just be glad he didn't sell 218 like this. Just be glad he did not sell 218 like this. The anime did. The anime did. Granted, 218 is not quite like these chapters. 218 definitely has a different vibe from the Ruka chapter and the Impulse chapter with Kazuya. It definitely does not have the same vibe. Like those are intentionally meant to be erotic. The Chizuru chapters almost feel gross. Like not even erotic gross, just gross. Just bleh. Like, and yeah, some people will get off to that if they're into NTR. But I don't think Reiji's into it. So I don't think he wants to sell it. And I think he knows people don't like it very much, so he definitely doesn't want to sell it. But yeah, so there's that. Now let's talk about some channel stuff. So, the other day, I started working on, let me see if I can find it. Where did I put it? There it is. The other day I started working on this. So this is the art that my friend made for me. For God, I gotta fix the edges. Oh, the edges are all a mess. I definitely gotta fix those. So this is the art that my friend was gonna make for me. It was gonna be our emote for our first emote for the channel. Unfortunately, that friend passed away. So what I'm gonna do is I talked about this in a post. This is gonna be one of them. So I'm gonna make 2 different emotes for the channel. This is gonna be one of them, just as it is. I'm gonna clean up the edges so it doesn't look fucking stupid. But once I do that, this is gonna be one of our emotes, and then I'm gonna make a colored version. And then I'm gonna that's gonna be like the official emote version. So this is what we got so far. I got her line art. I unfortunately couldn't get a clean one. I don't have access to her original art piece or anything, so I couldn't get a clean one. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of line work of my own, and I'll have to do some coloring. I haven't colored in a while, but it should be okay. I'm gonna try to not make this a normal, regular thing, mostly because like I don't want to promise emotes because I'm not an artist. I'm mostly write, and I haven't drawn in a long time. I used to draw. I haven't drawn in a long time. So I'm a little out of practice, and I don't have a pad to draw with. I do have Clip Studio, so that's probably how I'm going to color it. But yeah, I'd like to do it myself. I don't want someone else to color it. I want to give this like the the proper treatment I think it deserves. But yeah, so this is going to be our first emote. We'll work on other emotes later, but I did want to share that really quick. Hope you like it. Hope it's cool. Okay. So the first thing we're going to start with is not our thread. I'm not sure why Reiji liked my reply. Oh, well, you literally, like, it's right here. It's like, how could it get more erotic than the final draft? That's fucking right, buddy. You ain't ready. That or translated weird. That or translated weird. I don't know. Maybe to him, he's just like, damn. Oh, yeah, like, I don't know. I'm trying to, like, figure out his line of thinking, but how the fuck would I know? He just liked it. Be happy he liked your fucking comment. Okay, so first thing we're going to start with, analysis-wise, is going to be our email friend, because I haven't read his stuff in a hot minute. So that's where we're going to start. After that, we'll go into Reddit, and then I'll go into, whatchamacallit. Then I'll go into my stuff. Where's the shenanigans? Damn, sad aqua theme go burr. Cry with me, fellas. Cry with me. Jesus, there's so much stuff is getting sent to me. I'm getting tired of this. Nice. Like, it's like shit I don't care about. Okay, where is it? I gotta go. More? What the fuck? Where's the rest? God, I don't remember how to navigate my own email. Oh, okay, there we go. There it is. There we go. Where are you, my dude? Hello, 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 hello. Largo. Oh, it's kind of short. Maybe he has another one. Yeah, he probably has another one somewhere. Jesus. Fucking one day and I'm getting bombarded with a bunch of stuff I don't care about. Largo. Okay. So, what's the day? The 8th? When did the chapter come out? It would have come out on the 4th. I stopped myself from reading your flight. I'm looking forward to you getting into it. Oh, okay. Sounds dandy. Yeah, to understand, the thread is less fully the chapter and more the arc as a cohesive. I feel like the thread is not about the chapter. The thread is just more about where the chapter is headed and how I'm starting to understand it. This chapter, how do I want to describe this chapter? I wrote a little more about this chapter. I think this chapter definitely has a theme around, ooh, I know. I responded to someone on, I was talking to, and then I wrote some stuff on Google Docs. So I'll put those together a little bit as we're reading today, and we'll get into that. Okay, so Largo, what did you write for me today? A few more ideas. Oh, a few more, so that means there was another one. Okay, I'm just gonna look you up. Largo. For fuck's sake. Okay. 35. Okay. So first, chapter 435. I think the cover featuring Minnie. I think the cover featuring Minnie dressed up like a doll or an idol is one of several scenes meant to reveal who will truly and wholeheartedly support Kazuya and Chizuru in their relationship. Huh. Okay. In the room, we see statues of two cupids. I suspect the fact that Minnie is sitting next to the Cupids and isn't dressed up as one might mean she isn't one at all. Okay. This also refers to Sumi, who usually dresses like a doll and wants to be an idol. Sumi wrote on her phone that she doesn't want to be Cupid, so she probably feels that way too. Okay. So there are 2 Cupids, and one of them is definitely Mommy. On the cover of chapter 416, Mommy's dressed as Cupid. So who is the other one? I suspect it's a boy. 416. Mommy's dressed as Cupid. I think I remember they like asked a question is like, is she an angel or a demon? Yeah, you're referring to this. Yeah, is she like an angel or a demon? She's kind of Cupid-ish. Okay. In chapter 173 in Caesaria, there's a portrait of 2 Cupids on the wall. It looks like one is kissing the other on the cheek. On the cover of chapter 421, Kazuya is swimming against the waves. Sumi is one of the waves we're talking about. You had me at first, and then you lost me. Okay, let's change this a little bit. All right, Umi's return. The interior of the room where Minnie. Okay, let's go back to this. The interior of the room where Minnie is sitting is also very interesting because it's full of mirrors. On the shelf, there's something that looks like a perfume bottle. Do you mean this? I don't see any perfume bottles, I'm sorry. And what I think might be a candlestick, though I'm not sure. Well, there's a mirror. There's something standing, and then there's this. I don't think there's any perfume. Umi's return had already been hinted at in page 14 when we saw the Nakano Sun Plaza building again. Yeah. So the building that we see right here is called Nakano Sun Plaza. That was kind of hinting at Umi's return. A building whose name refers to the sun, but we see it at night. Okay. That is interesting. A building that refers to the sun, but we see it at night. And it's also closed. I want you to remember that. This place is closed, right? I don't know why, like Japanese fans are also very confused about this. They're like, wait, why is Reiji depicting it in this particular place that's now closed, right? Is it like this place is doomed, right? Or is this supposed to be like an alternate timeline where it's not closed? Is it meant to lean into the time travel shit? That could be a part of it. Okay, I gotta move this somewhere else so that way I can like change the music as I see fit. Let's see. Gotta have something else in here. Orchestra World Tour. We can do that, I guess. Study Treasured Memories. Let's start with that. Perfect. So, what? Reiji's foreshadowing the place closing soon in the manga? Well, the manga, in story, is supposed to take place, like, whenever Reiji wants it to. What's strange about it is they're acting in a place that's already dead. Chizuru looks like a ghost here. Do you see what's kind of happening here? It's like we're living dead. I feel like what the thematic idea is that it's tying perfectly into the theme of the living dead, where Ruka's relationship with Kazuya is living dead. Chizuru's home is gone. Chizuru's dream, a lot of it is motivated by people who are now dead. So, do you see how a lot of this seems to be directly tied to this idea of something already being dead? And we're living through like a ghost kind of thing. you know? Sorry, I'm just worried the music is too loud. I don't want to get copyrighted. Anyways, yeah, so the story seems to be leaning into this theme of things being dead when they look very much alive. So, yeah, there are a lot of zombies acting like they're alive. Yes, yes. Even Mommy is very much a kind of dead but alive situation. Sumi is a dead but alive situation. I feel like it's leaning into the theme of the alternate timeline stuff, where in like we've said before, Steins Gate, its whole thing is that, like, the Korosu in the original timeline died. When what's his name, Akuba time travels, he seemingly revives her. But she's been dead this whole time, and as a consequence of that, other people start dying. So we need a priest to exorcise the dead? Ooh. You're digging too deep into it. You're digging too deep into it. Too far. Too far. It's less the need to exorcise the dead and more, how do I describe it? It's less the need to exorcise the dead and rather recognize something is dead. Accept that something is dead. It's like we're forcing it to stay alive. So Chizuru is Sadako, Kazuya is Dracula. I wonder if the other characters have their own undead nods. Yeah, something like that. Chizuru, the Sadako thing with Chizuru has been going on since Odaiba. Like, that's when it started. Here, I'll show it to you. Like, also, they don't need a priest. The wave will be enough to wash it all away. Yeah, so, okay, this theme of things already being dead. This place is already gone, right? It's a place called the Sun Plaza, but it's already dead. This also mirrors Umi's thing. Umi is already dead, right? Literally, his relationship with Chizuru is seemingly already over. But what would be more interesting is that it's been dead the whole time, you know? Much like we thought it just ended, in reality, it's been dead the whole time. It didn't just end. And I think that's kind of thematically fitting with what's going on, you know? It matches a lot with the theme of grief that the story's been leveraging. There's just a lot hovering in the background that, like, connects, but we can't quite piece it together. Okay. Bum 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 ba ba ba. When Minnie entered Kazuya's room in chapter 433, the only kanji visible was the kanji for treasure. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Now we have a complete sentence. I don't remember who, but someone mentioned earlier that Chizuru is like a national treasure. Maybe it was Nagomi. The way Minnie suggests confessing love is similar to how Yoko, Chizuru's friend, noted that Chizuru likes it when men are assertive. Okay. Right now, Chizuru is the last person who hasn't seen Kazuya's new look yet. Yes, we've talked about this. Okay. Her disguise and blonde wig are somewhat reminiscent of Kazuya's new look. Yes, we talked about this too. You could say that they've both changed beyond recognition. Actually, no. So to me, the way I read Chizuru's is different. Chizuru is meant to be the antithesis of Kazuya, in my opinion. Fundamentally, she looks different here, but she's not different. No, so the whole idea for Chizuru is that she may dress differently, she may act differently, but she can remove that. She can remember who she is. She has a thing to do to remember exactly who she is. It's meant to be the antithesis of Kazuya, who has not recognized, who doesn't know who he is. So him changing is not him becoming someone else. He literally doesn't know who the fuck he is. So he doesn't know how to go back to how he used to be. Chizuru does. It's meant to be antithetical to him. What I'm struggling with when it comes to Chizuru is how her love is changing. That's what I'm not sure about. Chizuru is... So for Kazuya, his love remains consistent. Who he is changing. With Chizuru, it's the opposite. Her love is changing. Who she is remains consistent. That's kind of, to me, what I'm reading from this scene. That's, I think, what's going on. I think it's very intentional that you are shown Chizuru looking completely different, but right here in the very corner, you are reminded of who she is. You are intentionally told, no, this is her. And then 2 seconds later, you go back to the person you know. Like, I think that's very intentional. No, this is the same person. She did not magically become a different person. She's not losing who she is. However, her love is changing. And I think that has to do with that clash between acting and Kazuya. She just accepted something finally. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. What do you think she accepted? What exactly do you think she accepted? Because to me, this entire arc seems to be the antithesis of acceptance. It's the characters being unable to accept something. So much of this arc seems to be about the inability to accept something. So, I'm curious what you think she's accepting. Let's continue reading while here. I'd rather have you come to your own conclusions because I like your unvarnished reads. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going for now. I won't worry about that because I have no clue. Let's see. You could say they both changed beyond recognition. Okay. Disagree. Kazuya, yes. Chizuru, no. I think with Chizuru, you can't quite tell how she's changing. Mostly because you're not spending a whole lot of time with her. I think with Chizuru, it's a little harder to grasp what's changing about her. Let's see. Earlier, Kazuya has seen Chizuru dressed as a pink warrior and recognized her without seeing her face. I think someone might take advantage of the fact that Chizuru will be wearing blonde wig and provoke Kazuya into something in her presence before he realizes she's... I don't know about that. Chizuru's outfit featuring the American flag motifs is similar to Mami's outfit from Shimuda. Yes, when Mami... This is meant to parallel Mami. This is straight up meant to parallel Mami. It is not fucking subtle. It is also meant to parallel Ruka. That is the parallel between these two characters. It is intentional, okay? Mami, when she went to the beach arc, was literally wearing an American flag swimsuit. Then, when she goes to Hawaiians, her swimsuit is blank. It's like she lost her identity. Here, Chizuru is wearing an American flag thing. Now, this becomes interesting when you go back to Odaiba. What was going on in Odaiba? Yes, there's a clear comparison between them. Then, when you get to the current arc, there's something also interesting happening between Mami and Chizuru. Because Chizuru is not around, Mami's getting closer to Kazuya. Right? That is Chizuru's mistake. Because Chizuru is not around, because Chizuru is off doing this thing, Mami is getting closer to Kazuya. And what is Mami doing? Mami's acting just like Chizuru. Or at least how Chizuru maybe used to act. I think that's very intentional. Mami's becoming Chizuru, Chizuru is becoming Mami. And that fits really well narratively because what's going on right now? People are viewing Chizuru in a very negative light. Right? They still like her. They still think she's cute. Right? She's really good at that. But Chizuru definitely has a bit of a tainted light around her. And that has to do with how she's appearing. She's literally becoming Mami. On surface level, at least. Right? But internally, she's still the same. Surface level, she looks like Mami. Internally, she's still the same person. And I think that's maybe how her love is changing. Where the way her love is being expressed is like all wrong, maybe. Because she doesn't know what love is. Let's keep going. Okay. Chizuru is now taking on the role of Mami. Or you could say that Chizuru's role is like Mami and Ruka rolled into one. Both of them are still on Chizuru's mind. And yes, we did talk about this. If you remember, when Chizuru was watching her play here, her character seems like a jerk. Right? If we go to this section, Here's Chizuru. This is her line. Oh, you know, that dull dress really suits you. Her character's a jerk. It's almost like her character is a mix between Mommy and Ruka. These are a Ruka kind of line, and then these are also a mommy heartless kind of in a mommy heartless kind of way. I think the character is meant to be a reflection of those characters. She is playing a privileged, to me, what I'm seeing here, Chizuru is playing a privileged character. It's very ironic that Chizuru is playing a very privileged character who clearly has it really nice. But she's kind of a jerk. It kind of reminds me of like, it kind of reminds me of Mean Girls. You know, it kind of reminds me of Mean Girls. Okay. Okay. Omata-san turned out to be a woman. She was the one who called Chizuru in chapter 389. Interestingly, in the scene, Peter is sleeping right next to Chizuru. Yes, I remember that. The cat's presence foreshadowed a scene involving a cat imitating exercise. Okay, fair. That could theoretically have been foreshadowing. So what he's referring to is when Omata-san called Chizuru, it was chapter 389, okay? So in chapter 389, when Chizuru got a call from the lady we see in this chapter, there's Peter sleeping right next to her. This theoretically could have foreshadowed Chizuru doing the cat exercise. This theoretically could have foreshadowed Chizuru doing the cat exercise, which we see Peter with right here. Whether Reiji fully planned that or not, he sure connected it really well together. He sure connected it really well together. Right? Okay. Interestingly, in this scene, Peter... Okay, we read this. Okay. Peter shows up every time there is some connection to director Tokaguchi, like in chapter 426. I suspect Tokaguchi likes cats. By the way, Omata-san looks like a bit like Chibi Chizuru. You want to take her home. Not quite. She's like a cross between Chizuru and what's her name? She's like a mix between Chizuru and Kazuya's mom, Harumi. Okay. By the way, the party Omata-san is planning is a nod to the barbecue at the Tiger's Den. Yes, I also thought of this as well. It seems to me that there are a few references to One Piece in what she's saying. Excuse me? If Omata changes the date to the party, there's a chance the actors will hold it at Mother's Farm. What? What? Okay, you could have told me what the references were before you kind of immediately jumped to, for some reason, it being moved to Mother's Farm, which makes no fucking sense, by the way. I'm sorry. That's a little much. That's a little much. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Okay, chapter 434 and chapter 30, Christmas. In chapter 434, Kazuya lies and says he has a good voice. In chapter 30, Kazuya overhears Umi saying on the phone that Chizuru has a good voice. Again, ooh, more references to the connection between the guy here and Umi. Okay, more references to the connections between this dude and Umi. That's a cool catch. Okay. In this, well, he specifically, no. So specifically, Umi compliments Chizuru's singing voice. Or something like that. In the same chapter, Kazuya doesn't trust Umi, but he ends up being wrong about him. In chapter 434, Kazuya trusts Kenime, but it's possible he was wrong about him. This is what I mean. This dude and Umi seem like opposites. They seem like reversed, where Kazuya absolutely trusts this man, and he's clearly not trustworthy. But Kazuya doesn't trust him at all. Kazuya doesn't trust Umi at all. Like, not even a little bit. And every time he's like, oh, he's a good guy, 2 seconds later, he's like, I don't fucking trust him. This entire sequence, to me, reminds me of when Umi came to Chizuru's place. And Kazuya and Minnie were assuming a lot of bad shit about Umi. Right? Kazuya and Minnie were assuming a whole lot of bad shit about Umi. This is the opposite. This is like, this guy's great. Right? Even we got that impression. So that's why I'm saying this dude seems like the reverse of Umi. You know, he seems trustworthy. He's fucking not. And the character whom we have associated distrust with, Umi, just consistently seems to not be distrustful or not trustworthy. Right? Ruka doesn't trust him. Kazuya doesn't trust him. Everyone is sus around Umi. And fucking Minnie doesn't trust him. She's sus around him too. And yet Chizuru talks to Umi. And yet Chizuru seems okay with speaking to Umi. Why? Right? I want you to think about that. Despite what Umi did in the movie arc, Chizuru did not cut him out of her life. I kind of want you to think about that. Despite what Umi did in the movie arc, Chizuru did not cut him out of her life. She had every reason to. From our perspective, she had every fucking reason to. She didn't do it. Why? It's almost like maybe Umi isn't as bad as we think. Or maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe Chizuru's just fucking dumb. But to me, Chizuru doesn't seem like a dumb person. She's dumb when it comes to love. When it comes to love, Chizuru's kind of a bit of a dum-dum. Okay? Credit where it's due. When it comes to love, Chizuru ain't very smart. Who am I kidding? She's pretty good when it comes to relationships. When it comes to love, she kind of struggles. But when it comes to, like, people, Chizuru's pretty good. If anything, she's good at seeing the goodness in people that others do not see. So, I don't know. See, this is why I'm, like, sus about the Umi thing. I'm like, why would Chizuru just not cut him out of her life? She doesn't need to interact with him. She doesn't need to be his friend. It's not like he's important to her dream. She did a lot of stuff on her own. Maybe we'll find out next chapter how he's connected to all of this somehow. Okay. One of the kanjis in Kenima's name, deer, Kenima even resembles a gaze of a deer that remains cautious around a tiger. Okay. This ties in with the scene in the tiger's den. I'm not kidding. Umi, like Kenima, exchanged contact info with Kazuya. Yes, but Umi was the one being referred to as a tiger. Right? It is his den. He is the tiger. And yet the tiger did not gobble Kazuya up. Think about that for a second. Kenima is a deer that is weary of the tigers around him. Kazuya literally walked into a tiger's den and came out completely unscathed. Nothing fucking happened to him. Right? Makes you question, who's the tiger? Okay. Interestingly, right at the spot where the barbecue took place, Dakinyama, you can see a deer head, a hunting trophy on the wall. We see them in two scenes. This first is when Kazuya is dazzled by the world in which he believes Chizuru lives, which parallels Kazuya's admiration for Kenime, a successful man. Huh. Second time is when Umi decides to exchange contact online, which parallels Kanime's suggestion to exchange contact online, exactly at the moment when you can see his deer-like gaze. This raises a question. Are the scenes featuring the deer gaze really parallels to each other? Because in Tiger's Den, the deer is literally dead and is a hunting trophy. Kazuya sees Umi and his friend as tigers. And his friends as tigers. If the scenes were parallel, Kanime would be like the hunting trophy, but he isn't. So maybe it's the other way around. Is Kanime the tiger, but Kazuya the deer? I think you were on the right track and you went the wrong direction. To me, the point is, Kazuya is actually the fucking tiger, and Kanime is weary. He treats everyone around him like they're a tiger. So he defangs them. What is the best way to defang a tiger? I'm not talking literally. Make them your friend. Make them like you. Tiger won't hurt you or eat you if they're your buddy. Literally what he did. Right? Whereas Umi, by all metrics, is a fucking tiger. He has all of the power. He doesn't use it. He doesn't do anything with it. That's the big thing for me with Umi, is like, he has theoretically so much leverage. that he could abuse and use, and he kind of doesn't. Like, and to me, this is super fundamentally important, because if you contrast him to Mommy, that's all she does. Mommy consistently uses every leverage she fucking has. Oh, my dad's a piece of shit, but he's rich? I'ma fucking use that. Oh, I can get into Hawaiians, which you would need to, like, spend a decent amount of money just to get in. I could get my own fucking room. I can have this spending money and not work? Fuck yeah, I will. That is a consistent contrast between Umi and Mommy's characters. Umi doesn't seem to use as much as you think he does. He says he'll use it. There's a part where he's pretty much saying he'll use it, where again, specifically the movie arc, where he could bring you know, he's telling Chizuru, oh, come with me, let's go to, like, all this stuff, and you'll meet all these people. And she's just like, no. But then after that, you don't really see it. He throws a party, which, again, seems like he's flexing his assets, but he doesn't do a whole lot with it. From what I can tell. From the little I saw, it doesn't seem like Umi does a whole lot with his assets. Okay, he talks to Ruka, he doesn't really do a whole lot with Ruka either. He doesn't tell her, hey, I have all this following. I can get you whatever you want. He doesn't do that. Right? Yet, he could put Ruka on blast and leverage that against her. He never does that. It's Ruka who threatens him with that. So I think that to me is a very interesting contrast. Okay. And here's another interesting fact. Deer antlers are a symbol of infidelity. There's a certain idiom in English that goes to cheat on one's husband, wife, or steady partner. But in other languages, it literally means you're making that person look like he has antlers on his heads. I have never heard that. And I don't know if Reiji has. That's not quite what deers are synonymous with in Japanese culture. I think this man is just meant to be an illusion. So Soichiro or Soichiro? I don't fucking know. Shuichiro. So for him, it's Shuichiro. So Shuichiro, not Soichiro. Understand, the structure of this man's name looks similar to the guy from Maison Ikkoku. The kanji is completely different. There's only one thing in common, and it's the middle kanji. There's like 3 kanjis in his name, I think, or like 2. And the only similarity is the one in the middle. Everything else is completely different. It's the same with his last name. It looks like the last name from the dude from Shiunji family. It's completely different. Anyways. Okay, chapter 434 and 215, Mommy's flashback. Both Sato's and Kondo's faces are covered in similar ways to those of Toro Oroshima and Toro Hakuba. Well, Hakuba, we eventually saw his face, so that I don't know if that one counts. He literally transformed from a character that doesn't matter to one that does matter. So Hakuba is a little different. Oroshima, yes. Since Toro's identity was revealed after a while, I think the same thing will happen with Tauru with these 2 girls. Maybe? I don't know. That's a bit of a stretch. Possible, but still a bit of a stretch. Okay. With the scene where Kanema greets Kazuya resembles the scene where Toro Hakuba greets him in chapter 342. Actually, you're right. I didn't even think of that. But also the scene where Mommy tries to hand Chizuru an envelope at Hawaiians. By a strange coincidence, the scene is also chapter 215. I don't know about the scene. Wait. Now that's chapter 2. Wait. Actually, he might be onto something. Shit, I kind of see it. Shit, I kind of see it. Shit, bro, I kind of see it. Not quite the same, but the framing is intentionally contrasted. It's not quite the same, but the framing is intentionally contrasted. Where Mommy's very, like, you hear Mommy's thoughts. You know exactly what she's thinking. She's pretending to offer a helping hand. She's fucking using you. As she's literally offering you money. Right? She's literally being like, if you take this money, you prove me right. You're a gold digger. And she's literally, it's so fucking manipulative. It's so fucking manipulative. Urishima's the, or sorry, not Urishima. Shuichiro is the opposite. Shuichiro is the opposite. You don't hear his thoughts. And he seems like your buddy. But maybe just like Mommy, he's theoretically using you. Now, he also talked about Hakuba, the guy Mommy is betrothed to, and how he shakes Kazuya's hand. That is in 342? It is. Okay, 342. We run into this guy. He puts out his hand and shakes Kazuya's. I think there's more of a parallel between this and Mommy than there is Umi. And we can't tell because it didn't look quite the same. Umi never offered his hand. Right? Umi never did that. Ooh. Okay. This is interesting, actually. This is a good... That was a good fucking catch. Umi, Hotaru, and Mother's Farm arc may be similar to the beach arc. Okay, both girls in Group E have the kanji for Westeria in their name. Really? In their last name. Westeria. In Chapter 8, Curry made a mistake and said the wrong last names of Chizuru and Yuki. He said Ichihara instead of Ichinose and Sato instead of Kawanaki. The name Sato is pronounced by Curry and spelled the same way as Sato from Group E. What the fuck? Interestingly, during the drinking party, Curry did something similar. This time, he didn't get the last name wrong, but he did get the name of his favorite adult video star, Usue Miharu. This ties in the arc on the beach because of one of Mommy's friends is named Miharu. Imiya Miharu. Just like Curry's favorite adult actress. If you really think about it, she actually looks a bit like Coco-chun's mascot. Which one is he referring to? Sato, right here. Does she look like the mascot? Not quite. I see why you would try to make the comparison, but not quite. Stereotypical girl with freckles and two ponytails, often from the countryside. Miharu was the one who pointed out the mixed-up names to Curry. Miharu might show up at the farm. Oh, you're talking about Mommy's friend, who has freckles and... Okay. I don't know if she would show up at the farm, but there could be a connection to her. After last summer vacation, one couple broke up and two people unexpectedly started dating. Umi broke up with Nanaho and Yoko started dating Takashi. Okay. I think the situation will happen again after the summer vacation. One couple might break up and two people might start dating each other. Write down one more idea I've been thinking about later because I think I know what might happen. And the farm and... Okay. Okay. Ideas. Bribed with the A5 class meat. What? I suspected that Chizuru might go to Mother Farm with a group of Okay, I don't know about that one, okay? it's such a stretch that, yeah, even if it could happen, I don't want to go down this insane route with your analysis. I'm sorry. Maybe that's why we see her on the cover of 423 next to a car that's taking on more passengers. However, I also sense a twist in the air. That's because whether Chizuru goes there or whether main dead manager Omata-san. Immediately after Omata was introduced, she revealed her weakness to us. She likes meat. Did she? I'm the goddess of meat. I don't know if that's a weakness. I don't know if that's a weakness or a favorite thing of hers. I don't know if I would call that a weakness. Okay. And literally a moment after she walked away from Chizuru, Umi showed up, whose friend, quite by chance, was a barbecue restaurant. Oh. Oh. Right as he said that, the fight music started. Right as I read that, fight music. And it's literally, oh, this song is called Into the Darkness. God damn it. Omata probably wouldn't say no to a handsome actor if he asked her for a small favor or suggested a specific place, right? I don't know about that. I'd like to think she's a professional. I'm not sure about that. She's a manager. She manages actors. I'd like to think she's a professional. I could see Umi trying to take her out to like talk to her and see what's going on and shit, but I don't know about all that other stuff. Okay. Okay. Do you remember who was in charge of organizing the trip to Ayama filming the final scene? It was Minnie, our sly fox. Now the Minnie manager is in charge of the final trip before the premiere. What could go wrong? Well, it's not a trip, it's a party. It's a rap party. I don't know if that's the same. If Omata tells Chizuru the mother farm is planned venue... okay. It's the opposite of the test day in Joypolis that Kazuya went on with Minnie. That means someone will be there with Chizuru as her companion. For Umi, that would be an opportunity. I don't... There's a reason this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Your argument falls apart very quickly for a very simple reason. A rap party does not guarantee a date. Two, if someone is going to go scouting, it would be Omata. It would not be Chizuru. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think the mother's farm thing, you have great ideas. The mother farm thing, you're digging a little too much. Okay, let's move on from that. Blood Hottie, as we know, Kazuya met Mami with Toru at Joypolis, so if Kazuya goes to check out the farm too, he'll bring a companion along as well. Probably think they'll run into each other, right? This might be the case, but I think Chizuru disguise will play an important role there. Also think someone similar, Orlando White, played by Chizuru, will show up. Okay. If, as mentioned earlier, Mami's friend Miharu shows up there, the wig will come in handy to avoid the awkward situation. Why? The ninja friend already knows the truth about Chizuru, but Mami's friends probably still don't. What's that matter? If Chizuru realizes Kazuya is there, she might use her disguise. Okay. I'm also wondering if director Takaguchi happens to have a thing for blondes. There are a ton of possibilities, which seems like a great idea. That one has more, like, okay, so that argument has a bit more legs because the last girl he picked was a blonde. And now there's this. So I'm like, okay, that last argument, Takaguchi, for some reason, might like blondes for some reason. That has a bit more legs. Yet we've seen two blondes with this dude. Okay. Last one. I just realized the cover featuring Minnie from chapter 435 is, after all, a reference to Venus. Perhaps even a teaser for the first Venus. Minnie sits in her armchair as if on a throne. In the sense, she is a self-proclaimed goddess of love. Kinda. She's so beautiful, even a flower blushes. That does sound like a description for a goddess or something you would say about Venus or Aphrodite. beautiful a flower blushes. Yeah, I know Aphrodite is tied to all that shit. Blah, blah, blah. The name which calls a rose, the Wars on the Roses, was a series of English civil wars fought between the House of Lancasters, blah, 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 Victorian era, you can explore the full language, blah, blah, what does the red rose mean across different cultures? Yeah, okay, so we're not going to find a whole lot here, but the description does sound very Goddess of Love-like. The scene, and she's surrounded by all the love-related things. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment to say there is a love goddess thing happening here with Minnie. That's a fair assessment. The scene is meant to show that Minnie comes across as being on a higher level than even the Cupids. Fair, they look like they're under her. At the same time, we meet Omada-san, the self-proclaimed goddess of meat, and her height is literally Minnie. Huh. Okay. I have a feeling that Umi is going to make an offering and ask for the goddess of meat's favor. The scene also suggests that Minnie might have a much greater influence on certain things than we realize. By the way, I think we forgot to mention this, but compare the covers of volume 33 and 47. What? Okay, Rent a Girlfriend, volume 33. Images, just show it to me. Okay. Oh, is that? Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, there's some similarities, but one is stretching and one is... Oh, what the fuck? That's pretty funny. And then volume 47. I can see what you're fishing for. It's not quite the same. I can see what you're fishing for. It's not quite the same. Yes, I know. One, there's a similarity, but one is like actually like doing fucking yoga, and the other is just waking up in the morning. Yes, there's similar fetishes at play, if that's what you're talking about. Yes, I understand. I see it too. I know there's a bit of similarity in the structure of how it's presented. That's more of an art thing, I would argue, than like an immediate, oh, these are the same, there must be a fucking connection. Yes, the connection is it's a similar artist and they're doing similar poses. You know, like not quite the same, but the way Mommy's stretching over her head and the way the crotch is being shown is a little similar. Absolutely. It's not the same, but it's similar. Okay, let's go to serious discussion. Let's reload this page just in case. You know what? Actually, before we get into it, let's take a small break. You know, we talked about a lot. Chizuru looking tasty. You're funny. She always looks tasty. What the fuck you on about? She's a delicious course. She's not even just one meal. She's a course. And Mommy looks delicious, too. Mommy looks delicious, too. Welcome to the club, kiddo. Welcome to the club, kiddo. Okay, so let's take a small break. Just kind of change the pace a little bit. Just so we don't get stuck in like reading too much and get overwhelmed. So, okay, first off, let me read some of the comments. Write me some interesting shit, fellas. Write me some interesting shit, fellas. Also, if you haven't done it yet, go subscribe to my Twitch. If you are able, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm going to link you, fellas. Go subscribe to the Twitchity Twitch. Do it. Subscribe to the Twitchity Twitchy. Okay, thanks, fellas. Thanks. YouTube chat's been kind of quiet. Let's see what's going on. Jorg says, I noticed something after you said the appointment was important to her. She was given another appointment. That makes me wonder if there is a certain expectation behind this. Maybe something her manager has told her. But does she actually want to be there? That's my question. Chizuru needs to go to the party. It's less so does she want to, it's more that she needs to. The whole chibi thing. Full racist. I don't know what to tell you guys. Like it was pretty fucking obvious. Have you seen what's been going on with Asmongold? Like, he's been saying this kind of stuff for fucking ever. And people are now like, oh, I can't believe he said that. I'm like, I can't believe he hasn't been permanently banned. The dude advocates for violence. What the fuck are you on about? How are people shocked that Chibi is the same? Shocker. And then Eddie Man said he would DM me regarding the chapter. Okay. Kazi gets his salad tossed. Okay. I was away due to health problems just now to start to feel better. Oh, welcome back, Bacon. I hope you feel okay. I hope you're okay, Bacon. It doesn't seem like you're the only one. I think Jorg was at the hospital as well. So was Mute recently. People, watch your health. Drink water. Sleep better. Please. Take care of yourself. Make sure to eat a good fucking meal. Don't eat that fast food bullshit if you can help it. Okay? You can get some stuff that's good for you for pretty cheap if you're smart. Right? Just look around. Go to your grocery store and look around. You can find some shit for cheap. Don't always buy the same thing from the stores. You know, wander around a little bit, you know? I get different things from different stores, you know? Like, if I need a good chunk of stuff, I go to Costco, okay? But if I need, like, good quality but a little less, I go to maybe either Walmart, Safeway, or Trader Joe's, okay? Just be smart about how you approach things. You can, if you go to Walmart, you can get organics for like I can get like organic beans for like $1. Okay? I can get a lot of organic stuff for pretty cheap. If you go to Safeway, they got that like fucking app. They have this they have the Safeway app. It gives you a bunch of deals. I'm doing this for you guys, you know? Eat healthy, eat better. It's good for you. You'll actually feel better. Now, I'm not saying cut out all the stupid shit. You can keep some of the stupid shit. I keep some of the stupid shit. I was drinking a Coca-Cola 2 fucking seconds ago. Evil fucking company. Okay? Evil fucking company. But I'm not going to pretend like I don't like me some nostalgic as fuck soda. Okay? Generally, I would prefer Pepsi because that's what I grew up with. But I can't find real sugar Pepsi very often. But I can find this, so it's okay. Speaking of which, I've been meaning to go to see the new Spider-Man movie, and I have not had a chance. Maybe tomorrow I'll get to see the Spider-Man movie. I hope so. If not tomorrow, I might end up going Wednesday. Which, you know, sucks. It took a while, but I'll finally get to see it. I also have not seen The Odyssey. I have not seen The Odyssey. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that movie. I have not seen it yet. Okay, my nerves don't well in a hospital setting, so my body's still in hangover state since Saturday. Broke down crying listening to Lord of the Rings music. The track when Erwin is at Aragorn's coronation. Gandalf death music is pretty easy, Mark II. Damn. Well, I hope you're okay, bud. I mean, yeah, Lord of the Rings music's pretty good. I haven't seen the Lord of the Rings in a while, but speaking of Lord of the Rings. One sec. So I was thrift shopping. This was a couple weeks ago. This wasn't like recently. This was a couple weeks ago. I was thrift shopping and I went to this thrift store and I found let me zoom in so you guys can see. I found these and they were selling them for like dirt cheap. They were selling these for like dirt cheap and they're like these old special extended, like these are the original extended DVD versions of Lord of the Rings and I got all of them. Like I got all of the versions. And like this is what they look like. It's pretty long. Like this thing's big. So yeah, these are really cool. You know, I have a friend who's just like, why are you buying DVDs? I'm like, did you look at this thing? It's cool as shit. Did you fucking look at this thing? It's cool as shit. I got this for like $15. I got this for like $15. Yes, these three, $15. Yo, if you know how to fucking go to thrift stores, you'll find some cool shit. I did find a Star Wars one that looked really cool, but it was missing a movie, so I ended up not buying it. I did find a Star Wars one that looked really cool. It had like a cool art style like on here and everything, but it was missing a movie. I was looking through them and I pulled the third movie out, and it was fucking The Force Awakens. I was just like, what the fuck? I feel so lied to. I feel so lied to. Yeah. I still don't, I think I own all the prequels. I don't think I own, the originals. Okay, so last time we looked at the hero's journey, we said we're at rescue from without, which is definitely what Kibe kind of did. Next chapter should be leading into the death of dreams. Next chapter should be leading into the death of dreams. I think we're getting there. I think we're getting into that spicy shit. Okay, let me see what else people had to say in chat. So what if Reiji's foreshadowing the place closed soon in the manga? Would Chizuru cut Umi off, period, would end him? I don't think so, but I don't know. I don't know. It creates a fascinating contrast with Ruka. There's an interesting contrast with Ruka and Umi and not being cut off completely. And yet Chizuru completely rejected Umi, whereas Kazuya can't completely reject Ruka. Umi's like an itch on Chizuru's scalp that doesn't go away. See, I don't know if she views it that way. Chizuru so tasty that Umi won't give up after getting denied a meal. Very understandable of him. Wiz, I think you have a thing for Umi, bro. I think you have a thing for Umi, bro. We need to talk about this, bro. I think you got a thing for Umi. So Chizuru will go to the rap party. Then what about Kazuya? Not surprised even the first day Kazuya didn't get the initial date. He told Chizuru for their date. Whole Foods has healthy options too. I do not recommend Whole Foods. So, okay, back to the original topic of food. I do not recommend you go to Whole Foods. It is a fucking ripoff. Whole Foods is a fucking ripoff. So is Sprouts. Sprouts and Whole Foods are a fucking ripoff, dude. Their stuff, you can find in other places. You can find the same shit for cheaper in other places. Do not go to Whole Foods, go to Trader Joe's. Whole Foods is a fucking ripoff. I'm sorry. As someone who worked in Whole Foods, our place is a fucking ripoff. Or the place I worked at was a fucking ripoff. It's not worth it, dude. They tout, oh, we have these healthy options. You can literally find similar brands in Trader Joe's for cheaper. Don't go to Whole Foods. It's not fucking worth it. Like all the fucking rich people go to Whole Foods. Like when I worked at Whole Foods, I met Lady Gaga and I met Clint Eastwood. Cool. They have the money to waste on this place. It doesn't even hurt them a little bit. But if you are a middle-class family or lower, do not go to fucking Whole Foods. It is a goddamn ripoff. Moving on. In my case, it was an accident. It damaged my knee and it had to be repaired. Damn. I can't invest time on those movies. They're so goddamn long. Watch the originals then. Why watch? Okay. Bro, if you're trying to get into Lord of the Rings, do not watch the extended cut first. That is a mistake. I made that mistake. Okay? If you're trying to get into Lord of the Rings, just watch the original theatrical release. It is a much better intro. And then, if you're invested and you give a shit now, then you can go full nerd and watch the extended cuts. I made this mistake when I was trying to show Lord of the Rings to my mom, okay? She was into it. And then we were an hour and like 20 minutes in, and she's just like, bro, we're still not at the climax. What the fuck? And then she tapped out. She was done. Okay? So, do not start with the 3-hour versions of these movies. It is not worth it. Only do so if now you are fucking invested. If that is your shit now, then by all means go ballistic. Have fun. I just do not recommend you start with the 3-hour versions. They're good. I'm not saying they're bad. Just don't start with them. Hopefully at the stage Kazuya Chizuru wake up. I don't think so. I have a thing about Umi, but all presumptions or maybe will become spoilers soon. Oh well, Wiz will return Kanokari Doomsday. See, it's funny because I do think like Doom is almost here, but it's not the Doom you think it is. I do think there is a sort of Doom arriving, but it's not the Doom you think it is. I think we're so distracted by what we think is gonna happen that we're not realizing what's actually happening. And Reiji is absolutely leveraging that. It's kind of like the opposite of Mommy, where it's like, with Mommy, you kind of knew to some degree what the fuck her plan was. Like, she was gonna spill the beans. You knew that was her plan. Umi is not like that. You are intentionally actively left in the dark with Umi. Okay. Let's actually go to Reddit. Okay. Oh, I think Mate wanted me to read something. I never did read it. Let me go and check. I think Mate wanted me to read something. Okay, there it is. Yeah, I don't think I ever got a chance to read it. Okay. Chizuru uses the words Sasagiru during conversation with Sumi when she refers to I. She says, okay, which is the potential form of Sasagiru. It means to offer up, sacrifice, devotion, dedicate your life to a cause or loved one. This is what I implies for Chizuru. Okay. The 32 chapters of the date are titled Koi Goguru and Her. Yeah, I know that. You can check this on the chapter list with the original titles on Wikipedia or fandom. I already know this. There's literally Koi combined with the word heart, Koi Koguru. In English, it gets lost in translation, and they render it to love and her. It's shame because everything gets diluted into love, 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 love. Yeah, I'm aware. I am keenly aware, buddy. Let's change the music a little bit. This is intense. Oh, we're pretty much done. Maybe we need some battle music. Some Kingdom Hearts battle music. Well, this is battle music. Okay. I guess we'll go with 13th Dilemma for now. This is what I used to listen to when, like, the original Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. This is the old original version. I don't know if you guys can hear it very well. This is the old original version of Kingdom Hearts 2's, what is it? 13th Dilemma. I still have a special place in my heart for this goddamn song. There is something special about this song that I don't think the remaster captures. I think a lot of the songs that are remastered in the Kingdom Hearts series, just not every single one just fucking hits. There's always something special about the original version that they don't quite capture. Let's go with this. spoilers for the Kingdom Hearts 2. Actually, maybe we shouldn't play this if we're gonna spoil Kingdom Hearts 2. If we're gonna spoil Kingdom Hearts 2, maybe we shouldn't play this. You know? Fragments of Sorrow. Yeah, there we go. This one's okay. This song fucking broke the game, by the way. This song fucking broke the game. Okay. There's a part where you said that Chizuru hasn't said that. This is because I used a term that is also lost in translation. Suki at the end of Odaiba. They translate it as I might be in love with you, but she uses Suki, which is more complex to translate since it can be used in something like I like you, I have a crush on you. Okay. Regarding Chizuru's moment where she falls in love, there's a very solid logic in her writing of the script. Since Chizuru is a very serious character, when Sumi asks her about Suki, she responds by talking about Koi and about I. One could say that the investigation basically consists of Chizuru trying to achieve Koi status, which explicitly stating it. The struggle we see from Chizuru during the cohabitation in the Odaiba date centers around her emotional status. This search starts at the last rental date and ends when she attains it, when the date and the cohabitation come to an end. If she had been in the status of Koi prior to this, she wouldn't have made him wait, nor would she have told him that she wasn't ready yet in chapter 380. This is why I don't say she was in love long before, but either she was interested in Kazuya and she wanted to fall in love. She wanted to feel that, but she couldn't achieve it until she reached a certain emotional connection. Finally, a comment regarding the two panels, day and night, connected by the koi. I used the term vanishing point, but I was mistaken. The correct term is horizontal line. What we say when we say rotated identically in both drawings is the horizontal line. Okay, we figured this out in the stream. Yeah, we already figured this out in the stream. Oh, tension rising is a good one. Fucking love this stupid song. Bum 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 bum. Let's go to the other orchestra world tour. Yeah, this is a different one. Okay. Okay, so that was an interesting read. It's okay. Nothing too crazy. Oh, I think I know what this one is. Sorry, just closing tabs I don't need. Actually, I do want to check something. Do I have the English version of the chapter downloaded? I hope I do. I think I should. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. One more. Okay. Let's see what we got. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, good. Good, 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 good. And then let's go back to here. Yeah, it's weird that it feels weird that there's no chapter coming up soon. But I don't totally mind. Yeah, it's weird that we don't have a chapter coming up soon, but I don't like totally mind. It's just okay. Yeah, I needed to just download this really quick. Oh, okay, that's weird. Why is that there? Okay, I need a version that does not have that. Can I already have this thing downloaded. I just need to make sure I have like a, there we go. This'll do. This'll do. Okay, and then I just got to move it to here. Okay, let's extract all this shenanigans. Extracto. Extractamundo. I already have the Japanese version, so I'm not too stressed about it, but I just wanted to have this. Good. All done. Complete. Complete. Okay. I remember Jojo sent me something on Discord. Something was sent to me on Discord that I did not read. Oh, that's a funny meme, actually. What the fuck? It's pretty good, actually. The Sadako meme. Yeah, that was the point. That, good sir, is the point. This one's okay. Is it under manga? Okay. I was doing my thing of just looking at random things in the latest chapter, and I stumbled into something really weird. You haven't had a check-in with actual dates since chapter 431, where Kazuya said it was January 23rd and how the play was 2 weeks away, which puts the start of the play on July 7th. Okay? The weird part, though, is this. Omato refers to the dress rehearsal using a specific term. Jinpuru? Which apparently refers specifically to full-on stop rehearsal in full costume and the invite the media to see. And we do see exactly just that with Chizuru in costume and the cameras. The thing is, though, that usually happens the day before the play starts, July 6th. If this is remotely true, then Kazuya already took his driving test and... No. The play could be going on for a week, and by July 11th, it's done. So the play may have started. It doesn't mean like the play could be going on the whole time. So I don't think so. I don't think so. I do think Kazuya is close to his driving test. I'll give you that. I do think Kazuya is close to his driving test. I will give you that. We're definitely nearing it. We're probably going to see something either 2 chapters from now or maybe next chapter. We're getting close. Where's the serious discussion? Okay, I'll just look it up. Serious. Why so serious? 435. Okay. Empty glimmer. We've seen before that instead of admitting what she feels for Kazuya, Chizuru tends to push him away. A lot of people are saying, and honestly I hope so too, that her talk with Umi might finally push her to confess out of fear of losing him. But knowing Chizuru, I can't shake the feeling that the opposite could happen, that the conversation might make her retreat again. Okay, Chizuru is still someone who struggles a lot with opening up. She's cowardly when it comes to emotions. Not because she doesn't feel anything, but because she's terrified of what she could lose by admitting it. I don't know about that. That's not quite how I read Chizuru. I do think Chizuru has a cowardly-ish trait, but that doesn't come necessarily from just emotions. That it's specifically vulnerability. Chizuru, again, there's a big thing people are missing, and it's what happened in Hawaiians. Chizuru was starting to get comfortable with opening up, and then she was abused. So she's now afraid of opening up or dealing with these confrontational situations that result in these things, but she does open up. You know, it's just she gets scared, and I think people are just not understanding why she's scared, and they specifically just call it cowardly. That's what I just don't agree with. It's not simply she's cowardly. It's she has a cowardly-esque trait, but she's scared for a reason, and it's because her vulnerability was abused. Okay. Talking to Umi triggered all these fears and her right back in her usual pattern, protecting herself by rejecting Kazuya. But that's not why she rejected him. That's not why she rejected him. That's an assumption people have made. That she's merely protecting herself by rejecting Kazuya. That's not why she rejected him. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I keep hearing this. At the end of the day, the real question isn't whether Chizuru loves Kazuya. The part is obvious by now. The question is whether she'll actually find the courage to say it before fear shuts her down again. No. I don't think so. I think you're mixing up your characters. What you're describing is Kazuya. I think, in my opinion, you're mixing up your characters. You're describing Kazuya. That doesn't seem like Chizuru to me. Yeah, Chizuru has fears, absolutely. But all Chizuru has been doing in this arc is facing her fears. She's doing what Kazuya was doing in the movie arc. She's doing what Kazuya's been doing in the movie arc. If anything, you see that almost consistently. She's terrified shitless of Ruka. She's still faced her. Or at least tried to. I think what's going to happen is Chizuru's worst fears could theoretically come to light through Umi. Whether immediately or just subtly. I doubt Umi wants to immediately spill it. Maybe Umi will want to talk to Chizuru's manager, you know? And that could be, like, it would make Chizuru curious, like, why? I just don't know. But, I don't know. I think Chizuru has cowardly traits. I don't think she's a coward. And I've never been up with this idea that Chizuru rejected Kazuya because she was scared. If anything, she got even more hurt than him. And the date, to me, is literally Chizuru facing all her goddamn fears. Like, she's scared shitless in the date. And she's still there and she's still trying. Is she able to fully open up? Is she able to tell him every single thing? Is she talking about every goddamn fear? No. But could you let everything out into the air without any support whatsoever? Why do you think therapists, like, what they do is try to make you feel comfortable and be this place where you can communicate to them? That you're not going to be judged. They calm you down. They help you. The problem is Chizuru is carrying the fucking relationship on her back. And it just looks like Kazuya is doing that. Okay, well, I think most of us have fallen into this trap, which is quite cleverly written, where we are deceived regarding Chizuru's feelings and choices. I never stopped seeing new comments saying, well, she still can't decide. To this day, she still isn't clear about her emotions. Obviously, I was confused too. However, as the chapters went by and new thoughts and facts appeared, the pieces began to fit together. I don't want to repeat everything here because I made a post a few weeks ago where you can see step-by-step conclusions. Our confusion arises from Chizuru's refers explicitly to two different aspects of blah, 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 blah. After that, when Kazuya moved out in the okay, blah, 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 Omada-san explains to her the work to be done together with director Tokaguchi. We never saw the contents of the phone call that night. At the moment, Chizuru no longer has doubts on the emotional level. The decision was already made. Is that what you meant, Jojo, that she made a, I think you said she like made a decision or something. She accepted something finally that she doesn't have doubts on an emotional level. Is that what you think she accepted? By starting a relationship does not depend solely on feelings. Chizuru feels that she is indebted to Kazuya. She considers that she's still not at his level, and the first she must sort out certain aspects of her life to be in a relationship. This is why when Chizuru meets with Minnie, she tells her, I just need a little more time. It would be nice if we both feel the same. Okay? If the problem were still exclusively emotional, she wouldn't have talked about time. She doesn't need time to change how she feels. She needs time to sort out external things in her life and complete the plan she has in mind. Amada-san tells her how the director Tokaguchi is seeing that Chizuru is one having the best performance. She says she says specifically she's the favorite. If we go back to the beginning of the series, around chapter 52, Chizuru had tried to work with the same director to get a stable job as an actress and leave the rental job. At the time, they unfairly chose another girl and she was discarded. However, back then, if she had gotten the job, maybe she would have ended up losing the bond she had with Kazuya. Because their connection exists thanks to their rental relationship. In other words, if that had materialized at the time, fate would probably have separated them. Now, instead, the opportunity appears again, but in a different context. I think Chizuru wants to take advantage of the second chance to definitely close the stage of her this stage of her life, leave the rental job, and start a relationship with Kazuya. Many interpret that she is choosing work over the relationship, but that is the opposite decision that her grandmother made in the past. But I think Chizuru is trying to overcome her grandmother's story, find a balance between both. But what happens if this performance goes wrong or she isn't chosen? Does Chizuru's relationship depend on that? I think Chizuru's answers that at the end of the chapter. First, I have to pull off this performance so I can go into this with a clear conscience. Meaning she may have a plan B, but in the meantime, she wants to be the peace knowing she did her best effort to make things work. Yeah, that part definitely gave me the conclusion that, like, oh, is Chizuru trying to quit, or is there something else that she's trying to clear her conscience with? We read this from Varicus, I believe. Maybe I'll read those in a little bit. What could mean if we go back to the chapter 39, Chizuru did not really talk about her manager about the situation. It's quite possible that Chizuru will talk about her manager about the issue of her schedule because appointments and work commitments keep overlapping with the time she can go out with Kazuya. Chizuru needs to find a balance between her private life and her job. I think she might want to be able to have both. Because of that, she might need to speak with her manager so that similar conflicts do not happen in the future. Could be. Okay. So much. Oh my god, I thought that was JoJo for a sec. He didn't write a whole lot. What the fuck, bro? I've been saying before the physical emotional connection to Umi is weak. Chizuru even says, I've never felt like this before, which implies that their feelings don't feel like this intensity with Umi. This way I've that's not it. Oh. What is this? Is this tied to something? Mine's down a bit. Okay, well, I'll finish reading this, whatever it is. That's why I have a surmise that she sees him in a much more cerebral and idolized, and they both can read between each other's lines. They understand each other without words, and that step of connection that I think Chizuru thought she wanted. I think this might tie into the circumstances of her mother's death, relationship with her father. I think it's very telling, the chapter where we see the visual Dracula illusion has a flashback to Parents' Day. She clearly has surrogates of her grandparents that would gladly fill the role for her, but she hides it from them. She hides it because it's not like the other kids. She hides it because she doesn't want to be a burden. But she tells Kazuya that basically a dream of hers that she hopes to have her children. Unless it's ideal, she wouldn't accept it, and that's the illusionary prison she puts herself in. Kazuya is the opposite of ideal. He fits none of what would be acceptable of a high-profile actress. He came at a horrible time, and many other defenses in name, but he's what moves her heart, given her the Kokoro. Okay. There's a lot of Japanese here, and I can't read this. Honestly, I don't know what more to say at this point. We just keep getting more chapters that validate my theory that everyone hates. The story is very clearly screaming at you that things are going a horrible direction, and that old conviction protected us before that will make us for our downfall. Okay, I'm going to just stay focused on the puns that are lost in translation in this chapter and point out the title word they used in the Japanese. It can just easily mean a confession to a crime as much as a confession of love. Really? Huh. I'm begging people to notice how different perspectives cause you to have a completely different outlook of what is happening. The first fucking thing literally said this chapter is this. By the way, Master, have you ever actually confessed your feelings to Chizuru-san? By what confession can either be of love or of secrets? It depends on how you view it. The rest of the chapter is a series of confessions that play on the ambiguity. Later, when we get to Kibe, he ends on this very interesting conclusion. Wait, what do you mean a series of confessions that play on this ambiguity? What do you mean? What are you referring to here? I'm a little confused. Bro, in chapter 300, you said that you would meet in 20 chapters. Do I look like I write this manga? Motherfucker, do I look like I write this manga? Do I look like I am the writer of this manga? No? Good, because then don't take my word as gospel. Don't take my word as fucking gospel. At chapter 300? What do you mean 300? They were living together in 300. They were living together in 300. What are you referring to? You talking about 400? You talking about 400? If it helps, Reiji indicated he shifted directions a little bit, so there you go. If it helps, Reiji did indicate he slightly shifted directions, so there you go. How dare you, Fate? You said they will get together. I mean, I'm right. Just, I'm a little ahead of the curve, you know? I'm just a little ahead of the curve. What can I say? The characters are confessing things. Kazi confesses that he never said the word I love you, go out with me directly to Chizuru, for instance. Oh, so like the chapter has a bunch of confessions, I guess? Huh. Okay. Sure, I get it. Thinking it's foolish to fall for a working girl. but you're going to say that? Who exactly is a working girl supposed to marry? When he says working girl, does he mean a girl who sells herself, or what's he referring to? How is it spoken in Japanese? What does that mean? Like, what is Kibe... Like, is that what he says? A girl is, like, selling herself? Just read the analysis. Okay. That's why I don't call it vanity. I call it conviction. I believe held with that true faith. You've made up your mind. I believe in the person you love. To me, that alone makes you a hero. The first reaffirms the reality Chizuru as a working girl, which can mean prostitute, but also someone who does adult-related jobs like being a bar hostess or a rental girlfriend, and then really considers what it takes for a person like this to be married in a society that looks down upon and ostracizes. Kibe denies firmly that Kazuya doesn't love Chizuru through vanity, but rather it's like he took the best parts of himself, of honesty, trust, devotion, shin, and desire, feeling care, and combines them into the word conviction, and then calls Kazuya a hero for it. But Kibe is in shadow as he says it. That's because it's implying that the very heroic-sounding thing isn't heroic at all. And it's not heroic because it's completely ignoring who Chizuru is as a person, instead turning her into some sort of idealized being of worship. And in so doing, looping all the way back around into labeling her by her fucking job. Literally, this is what I was talking about. Regardless of what extreme you pick, you loop all the way back around into doing the same thing. He's dehumanizing Chizuru in reverse. Because he calls her a working girl. He calls her pretty much a girl who sells herself. He's labeling her by her job. He's literally dehumanizing Chizuru, and he doesn't realize it. Just as he doesn't realize that the faith he sees in Kazuya is blind. It's something I noticed again with Nagomi in chapter 309. What's interesting about 309 is when Nagomi realizes that she that she had prejudice towards Chizuru. She's not selling her body but her emotions. No. She's selling her time. She's selling her time. See, the fundamental you think people misunderstand is they think when you sell your body, you're like selling your pride and your soul and shit like that. But no, you're not. No, you're not. You're just selling something people want, and you are really good at giving it. Everyone is selling your time. Exactly. That's the point. That's the thing. When you look at an actress or an actor having a sex scene, you don't really view it like you would when you see people doing a porn, right? You don't look at that the same way. But they're the fucking same. They are selling you a goddamn lie. They are selling you their skill, their time. And you buy it. It's not that different, but one has a better label because it's acting. Motherfucker, when you watch porn and you get off to that shit, they're doing a good job selling it to you, even if you can tell it's fake. You're still probably into it. And I think that's what people are like underestimating and not appreciating about people who work who are sex workers. You know? Like, and people tend, when you look at a sex worker, you don't see them as a person. When you look at an actor, you try to see them for the person, but in reality, you're idolizing them. It's literally two extremes that loop back to the same problem. We idolize actors, we demonize sex workers. And then in the same process, you're dehumanizing them in different ways. It's this fucking same. You're just looping it back around to the same exact problem. And I think that's literally the issue. We're dehumanizing these people, and in so doing, we're not seeing them for who they really are. That's why you'll see a lot of actors. Johan is 90% biased, 10% good reader. Then why are you watching me? If I was really such a shitty reader, why are you watching me? I sound, from your description, I sound terrible. Why are you entertaining me? Go watch someone else. They're probably significantly more entertaining to you. They probably say what you want to hear. See, the problem is what you just described is bias. That's the problem. You cannot judge my bias because you are biased. You can't, it's very hard to judge someone else's bias because you're biased. There is no objective element when it comes to writing. It is subjective. Even the objective elements, if you dig deep enough, it is subjective. Of course I'm biased. You'd be an idiot to think I'm not biased. If you listen to some sort of content creator and you think they're not biased, you're biased. That is literally what it is. If you look at people and you're objective, when you engage with your art, when you engage with people, if your objective is to find someone who's not biased, you're a fool. There is no such thing. Every single human being is biased. We are emotional creatures. We are social creatures. We're gonna be biased. Do not look for things that are people who are not biased. That is not a thing. If anything, I would suggest this. Look for someone who's biased, not in a way where, you know, he's gonna ignore things, but biased in a way where he's gonna try to see things. They're biased in a way where they're gonna try to see what the fuck they're looking at. That to me is a good kind of bias. And I think that's a mistake people are misunderstanding, you know? When they listen to people who are they think they're not biased, they are biased. Every single one. Every human is biased. The beauty of bias is recognizing it. When you catch it. I know I'm biased. I notice it. Okay. Sorry. Got distracted. Even actress works have similarities on selling themselves to get projects. Exactly. Have you seen actresses, dude? You'll see butt naked actresses half the fucking time. You'll see people fucking like flexing their assets. How many times have you seen like Chris Hemsworth showing you his fucking abs and working out and flexing himself? How many times do you watch a Marvel movie and fucking what's his stupid face who plays Wolverine like fucking strips and Deadpool like objectifies the shit out of him? It's not that different. It's really the same. It's just one you see genitals and then one you don't. One you see like straight up fucking and then one you don't. Oh, somehow because I'm seeing straight fucking, it's different. No, it's just a little more adult. It's the fucking same. It's just a little more adult. By that logic, Chizuru is an actor who shows you her assets. But she's not straight up fucking. She's not straight up a sex worker. It's the same goddamn thing. Why do you think she relates to sex workers? Why do you think actors might actually understand sex workers? Not all of them, mind you. Of course, that some of them probably have their own biases and they don't all agree and believe in sex workers. But I would believe they would absolutely understand. I read an already axed manga made by a known NTR author where the girl cheated on her manager boyfriend with an actor. Next week, she quit the management and got cast in a big drama show. I read the same one. And it's not axed. It's not axed. I read the same one. It's not axed. It's dog shit. But it's fun dog shit. It's terrible. But it's fun terrible. I know exactly what you're referring to. What's the title? I don't remember it off the top of my head. It's in my phone. I have the tab still. I don't remember the title. It's axed with 2 chapters remaining. Never mind. Never mind. I didn't know that. Okay, my bad. I did not know that. Garapara. That's what it's called. Garapara. Yeah, it's got straight up fucking too. Like, that shit turns into a goddamn hentai. It's got straight up fucking. Understand, I didn't read the whole thing. I just read those particular chapters because they came up in my feed on Twitter, and I'm like, you know what? Fine, let's do this. I'm down. I'm down for some horrible smut. For some garbage. I'm down for this. And then just reading it a little, I'm just like, ugh. It reads like a hentai. It reads like a hentai. You know, just a gross hentai. Which probably Kazuya will suspect Chizuru on something out of no trust, because even if Chizuru told Kazuya, even if Umi told Kazuya he got rejected, Kazuya would presume a new one. Remember, Kazuya got rejected, then kissed by Chizuru. I'm not gonna get into that. You can tell a very clear difference between those kinds of stories. Kazuya making his own assumptions is a whole other ball game from whatever the fuck that was going on in that story. Like, that story is not about love. I'm telling you right now, that story is fundamentally antithetical to love. That's kind of why I find it gross. A huge part of the reason I find a lot of hentai and a lot of stories like that kind of gross is because they're just very antithetical to love. They are there to engage you in some way and get you to beat your meat. You know, you're in it for the horny shit. But it's not about love. And that's why I don't like those kinds of stories. I tend to very much drift away from stories like that don't involve love. I can feel it, you know. Like when I engage with it, I'm like, this isn't about love. This is just, it feels hollow. You know, reading that story, one of the reasons I didn't bother reading the whole thing, I just read those particular chapters. It feels hollow. It feels fucking empty. I don't feel like I'm reading a real story. And personally, if someone said they dropped it, I wouldn't doubt them for a fucking second. It's hollow. It's empty. It feels like it's fundamentally missing something. Like, it doesn't feel like it's being written from love. It just feels like someone writing, well, kind of their smut, if you will. You know, the shit that made them horny. But the characters don't feel like characters. The story doesn't feel like a real story. I have no reason to be invested in this narrative because I know 2 seconds later the characters will be treated like crap. That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like the characters are just being treated like crap and their emotions are garbage. And those kinds of stories I just genuinely despise. I don't like it. Me being biased. Yeah, the story was just the author's poorly disguised fetish. If you like that stuff, more power to you. Story's like a magnum opus about this story is like a magnum opus about real connection, pretty much. Yeah, I did not connect to that story. I didn't give a fuck. The moment that was done, I dropped it. I'm like, cool, nice sex scene. Cool, nice sex scene. Pretty straightforward, just a good fucking hentai. Moving on with my day. Let's see. So we're talking about Kibei's idolization worship of Chizuru. And the contrast to Chizuru actually is, immediately after Kibei saying this, we are then shown Chizuru playing a stereotypical American girl who's dressed scantily in comparison to the rest of the actors on stage. She's also having dozens of pictures of her taken as she does this. Ooh, nice comparison. I didn't quite catch that. I don't know if it was fully scantily, but she's wearing those tight-fitted clothes that, like, make your assets stand out. It's how most girls dress in the gym, you know, very form-fitting clothes that are very tight and make your form really stand out. I wouldn't say it's scantily. Yeah, I don't know if I would say it's scantily, just tight-fitting form that makes her figure stand out, meaning the character very much wants to show their figure. The next chapter, she looks like, she also has a dozen pictures taken of her. The next page, she looks like Sadako from The Ring, and it's established that she turns into a literal monster about the savages of technology destroying us like a virus. That's the imagery she uses to remove herself from the role, almost like she was possessed. We then get to Omata's first visual appearance, and her heavy usage of Kensai dialect, Latin manzai with puns and jokes results in this. Once we're done, let's go grab something delicious to eat. Believe it or not, I'm actually known as the goddess of meat. That kind of would have rhymed, because I can really pack it away. But despite that, I never grew any taller, and since I walk with such wide strides, people call me Big Stride. I wish she spoke like this. That would have been hilarious. Give me a break, will ya? This is the straightforward Menzai setup, complete with constructing images of big meat and large strides from a tiny person. Chizuru happily plays her straight man during this act too. This is clearly a dynamic that they've engaged in many times before, and she's comfortable with Omata's antics. There's also a lot of sexual double entendre that's basically makes the joke she invites people in with voluptuous body, meat goddess, even though she's tiny and petite, and then makes it about how she's got a big crotch, Omata, despite once again being tiny. It's really quite hysterical when you know the original Japanese. It's also clearly setting up Chizuru as someone who isn't this innocent person and can play at this risque jokes quite easily. I mean, we already knew this. If you actually paid attention to Chizuru's dialogue in the earlier parts of the series, Chizuru knows her fucking shit. She's not stupid. She's not stupid. When they went on the dream date, she literally said, oh, at least now I don't look like I'm doing compensated dating, which is pretty much like sex right after, because Kazuya was dressed too. Like, it literally shows she knows what her work looks like. She's not a fucking idiot. She's totally comfortable with sex, and it's something we should have known for a long time now. I don't know if she's totally comfortable with sex. She's comfortable talking about it. And she knows about sex. She's not fucking stupid. She knows sex because sex workers and shit. She talks about that stuff. And of course, it's like in movies and shit. And this wordplay leads her to then confessing that she has plans already on July 11th, and how this immediately brings her need to confess what is going on with her to Kazuya on that day. How the play is supposed to act as a ballast for her being able to do that. And amidst the subtext and hand-wringing, Umi shows up. Chizuru isn't even that surprised to see him, and this heavily implies that he's either involved in or around the play. The ending tagline for the chapter is, the person who appears before Mizuhara was Umi-kun, who knows all sorts of things. So it's not that Chizuru isn't surprised, just to understand where they are. Like, even if Umi is involved, right? Let's say Umi is involved in the play, or just here for some reason. Cool. But at the same time, this place is literally a place where actors go. It's a place of plays. It's a place of performances. We saw actors earlier. It makes a lot of sense for Umi to just be here. Right? Maybe Umi isn't directly involved in the play. I'd hope so. I hope Umi's just here because there's some acting shit going on. And that makes the most sense. To me, that makes the most sense because there was the girl from earlier who had a drama. Right? So in chapter 407, which I'm pretty sure links to this, 408. In chapter 408, which I'm pretty sure links to this, when we cut to Chizuru, we see this girl who had a kissing scene in the drama the other day. This is the same kiss scene we saw in 399 that Chizuru was watching on TV. If this girl has her drama here on TV and she's here in some sort of connection to that, it makes total sense for Umi's drama to have something to do with this place. It makes a lot of sense for Umi's drama to be connected to this place somehow. So there was already hints that Umi is connected to this. There was already hints that Umi is connected to this in some ways. You know? Like, it's not surprising. Okay, let's keep. Basically, it implies that Umi has the most complete information about Chizuru out of everybody. More than Kazuya and more than Minnie. Really? He's like a priest sitting at the confessional ready to hear her sins. And the best part is that he can insinuate he knows about Ruka or not. He can be a facilitator or not. Chizuru getting tickets for Kazuya. He can just be a conversation with Chizuru and have Omada oversee them talking. She said she'd be right back after talking to the director after all. Maybe Omada asks rashly if he is the reason why she can't make it on July 11th, and now Umi has yet another bit of information about Chizuru. There's just a lot to hint at with that Umi is gathering the truth, and I suspect it will amount to kind of expose on her in the end. We won't need to lie or scheme like Mommy. The truth will be damnation enough. But why would Umi do that? Again, we keep coming back to Umi's motivation. And I just don't get it. Okay. We'll stop here for now for Reddit stuff. I don't want to waste too much time getting into it. Yeah, I don't want to waste too much time on Reddit stuff. We can read what I wrote. I fucking love this music. Dude, Kingdom Hearts 3 has such amazing world design and music. It does not get enough credit for that. Like, having played the older games and then going to 3 has godlike world design. It is not appreciated for what it does right. 3 does so much right. And I'm so sad I never noticed it the first time I played. I'm so sad. I never noticed it the first time I played. Like, the world discovery alone is like peak cinema. You okay? Okay. Sorry, honey. From the top. I might do a little... So tomorrow, I might do a second analysis stream and then end it and then switch to Kingdom Hearts. I think that would be kind of fun. I also have Tuesday kind of off since... like, I have... So since Tuesday there's no chapter, I'm going to go to my meeting, and then I'll come back and stream. I think that would be better. I'm not going to stream immediately on Tuesday. I'm going to go to my meeting, if I have it, and then I'll come back and do my stream. So I think that'll be the plan. And then Wednesday, I'm off, but around 4, I got to go watch a Spider-Man movie. I might see it tomorrow with my mom. We'll see. So I might start early tomorrow. So yeah, we got a lot of time. Okay, let's read this. I have a few theories that Kazuya was hurting Chizuru's acting career as far back as 390. I wanted to... At first, this wasn't going to be a thread. At first, I was just going to be like, look, I called it. But then I went back to it, and I had a lot of different theories. Like, a lot of them were just different, but there was the consistent theme of Kazuya and maybe Minnie impacting Chizuru's career. And some people said other stuff in the comments, so we'll talk about those in a bit. But now I'm starting to see it. Ruka's presence is a big problem. She's a scandal waiting to happen. For a rising actress, this could be bad. Umi's presence could relate. So, okay, let's look at Ruka for like a second and relate that to Chizuru, right? Chizuru likes a guy, and she's seeing a guy, and she lived with a guy who has a girlfriend that he's had sex with. Let's see how the media will spin this, right? Just as Chizuru is getting this big role, let's see how the media is going to spin this. Let's see how the media is going to have fun with this. It's damning. It would be a fucking disaster. Umi being seen with Ruka in the park connects to this. Not just with his fans, but with random girls, right? So at first, right, there's these fans who ask who Ruka is, and Umi's just like, oh, they're just acting buddies. So they don't question it. Then there's these girls who recognize it's Umi, right? Now it's specifically involving him. He was recognized. It's important that he was recognized. And again, who's the center of this? Ruka, right? Ruka screams out loud and attracts attention. Her very presence brings attention to her because she doesn't know how to shut the fuck up. Right? From an outsider's perspective, it looks scandalous. Kazuya being with Ruka and seemingly cheating on her with Chizuru frames Chizuru like the mistress or homewrecker, or vice versa. What did Ruka call herself? Ruka literally called herself a mistress, right? Or Kazuya imagines her as a mistress. So it would be pretty damning. Heck, it might impact Kazuya negatively, right? It could impact Kazuya negatively if you spin it a certain way. Oh, what a piece of shit this guy is, right? He's playing Chizuru. He's playing Ruka. He's playing Mommy. He's playing Minnie. He's even playing this poor innocent girl, Sumi. He's playing all of them. What a piece of shit. You see how the media could easily spin this on Kazuya? Not simply Chizuru, right? A reframe, if you will. No. Chizuru is a rising actress. She would never do this. She was being played, that poor thing. Mommy and Sumi could be included in this too. Mommy is betrothed, and here is Kazuya spending time with her. They don't consider this, right? Sumi is a rental and has feelings for Kazuya. Even Minnie acts like his girlfriend and casually goes into his house. It's an easy story for the media to spin around. It's even more ironic for Mommy, who criticized Chizuru for not considering her clients might have a girlfriend waiting for them to come home to. She's specifically referring to Ruka. She says it right here. Have you ever thought about the real girlfriend that might be waiting for your client to come home? She was specifically referring to Ruka. This is the official translation, so it's kind of shit. Even though Kazuya doesn't love Ruka, now Mommy is doing that exact thing to Chizuru, right? And that's the funny thing. Chizuru did consider it. She actively asks about Ruka. She tells him to find a good girlfriend. She's very keenly aware. She's not dumb. but mommy treats it like she's inconsiderate, right? Now mommy is doing the same exact thing to Chizuru in her unchecked desires. It mirrors Kazuya's actions. It's fucking hypocrisy. And it mirrors Kazuya, who's just actively chasing Chizuru, and yet upset at Ruka for actively chasing him. Rather than confront himself and make changes in the relationships around him, Kazuya strives to fix a different problem, his looks and his value. In so doing, not valuing Chizuru until he feels the fear of losing her, and not solving the problems he knows he should himself. Right? Remember, what triggers Kazuya to actually fucking talk to her? What actually triggers Kazuya to speak to the girl? The fear of losing her. That's what gets him to actually goddamn move. Right? Up until that point, he was all comfortable in his house. Kazuya was sitting comfortably in his house, not worrying he's going to lose her any minute now. Right? So, to me, the arc is literally kind of about that. Like, okay, oh, you're not afraid until you almost lose this person? Let's have you lose them. And then recognize what you lost and try to get it back. He sacrifices his identity, everything that got him where he is now, in order to become more likable, showing his distrust. He lets problems fester rather than make permanent change because he, ironically, fears change and doesn't know who he is. Hence the hero's journey. Right, so, all this stuff. It shows how even when we love someone, we can be inconsiderate of them, distrust them, and it's often reflective of our own internal distrust of ourselves. It makes Kibei's words in chapter 435 ironic, for despite believing in Chizuru, Kazuya changing himself shows he doesn't actually trust her. To add on, in trying to humanize Chizuru, Kibei ironically dehumanizes her just as sex workers are dehumanized. Rather than see Chizuru for who she is, he labels her through her job. He closes his eyes, right? When he says this, he closes his eyes. You could interpret this as lying, or you could interpret this as, rather than seeing it for what it is, he's choosing to look at what it looks like. In trying to change his viewpoint, Kibei showed his stigma towards Chizuru's job. Ironic considering actors are, in a sense, just selling themselves. It's a skill, much like rental or sex work is. There are even sex scenes in movies. Yet they are not viewed the same way because one is correct and one isn't. This is the undertone in Kibei's words, and it's sad. He implies people who work jobs where they appear to sell themselves must be selling their pride or humanity. Yet that couldn't be further from the truth. He even treats Chizuru like she's better than Kazuya, yet says stuff like this. He doesn't see the truth of himself and Kazuya. People check out attractive people, engage with porn, and actively talk about sex, but the moment someone works a certain job, they act like they're different somehow, even though they were checking them out 2 seconds ago. Its perception and Kibei's words and actions reflect that, right? Kibei under the pool, right? Kibei under the pool, checking Chizuru out, right? Checking Ruka out. Sorry, just trying to change the music a little bit. I want something a little different. Want something a little different, a little more low-key. Yeah, we can go back to Life is Strange. Yeah. We listened to enough Kingdom Hearts. We can go back to Life is Strange. Right? And then here, Kibei speaks with generalizations. All women have a need of approval and feel rewarded by it. He's dehumanizing women by speaking by generalizations. The framing plays directly into the stigmatized bias of sex workers, just being whores or sluts. Things people regularly call Chizuru, but never Ruka, despite working a similar job. Ruka quit, so she's better, right? Not like Ruka actively tries to seduce Kazuya, yet gets upset at Umi for seemingly trying to seduce her on surface level. Ruka regularly talks about Chizuru's assets, expects her to do certain things, or assumes she will take advantage based on her perception of people being fake. Yet, the irony arises when you realize she only thinks this because she does it. Ruka is a faker pretending to be real. The framing of this is that the work is some sort of disease when it's something everyone does. The language itself is dehumanizing in a world where if you don't have money, you can't live. It's childish. Chizuru pays for everything alone, and she never sacrificed who she is for it. Ruka has the luxury to just quit her job. She has parents who will cover her. She's still a kid. She literally wants a job where she literally went to a job where you sell love in search of love and got upset she couldn't find it. And then when she did, it can't be someone else's. She needs it more. Right? Come on, Kazuya, you and I are linked by destiny. Right? I need you more than Chizuru. Chizuru doesn't need you as much. Rather than fight for her own, she pretends she is alone. That Kazuya is her only option. But he isn't. In fact, she literally found an identical situation. A client of hers was interested. And she just forgot all about him. She assumes all others are fake when she is. Right? What does Ruka say? Ruka literally says right here, Kazuya-kun is the only one I have. Is he? Or did you do that to yourself? Ruka, despite working the same job, still calls Chizuru these insults. Mommy, too, called Chizuru such insults in the restroom, framed her as a gold digger, and attacked her character by playing into everyone's bias towards her job, something Nagomi even admitted to in Chapter 309. So what was interesting about Nagomi is this. What she says here, she says in shadow. But thinking about it calmly, it occurred to me that my immature preconceptions were more at fault here than anything else. Why do you think she's in shadow? That's a part of it. But she doesn't consider how Chizuru feels at fault. She doesn't consider Mommy's actions. Right? She doesn't see how the characters around her feel. She's blinded by her own, by what she believes is her fault. And in so doing, she doesn't see how she's actually adding to Chizuru's pressure. I realize the small prejudice of mine made you guarded, forcing you to hide things from me. I feel ashamed. What did Chizuru do right after this? She became more guarded. What did Chizuru do right after this? She became more guarded. In Nagomi trying to confront this part of herself and show that she loves Chizuru, she didn't recognize what the actual problem was. That she's still part of the problem in admitting to the problem. She doesn't get it. These biases inform the framing. In Informs Oreji depicts Kazuya beating his meat to an actress who looks like Ruka. The eroticism blinds us just as our bias about it does. We see cheating and betrayal when these are just fleeting desires or just people working a job. Acting. Context is everything, and people want to remove that for their own narrative. People are sold a story they paid for, whether it's watching porn, rental, or a movie, and then make up their own generalized rhetoric about it. It blinds them to the truth, for they never wanted it in the first place. It doesn't matter. The world is full of fake people anyway. People cheat despite saying how much they love you. They call themselves a loving partner, all while not really caring about you. What about Kazuya-kun? The statement has layers because people actively act like Kazuya is stupid for falling in love with Chizuru, when that very statement is stupid, as their love wasn't simply forged from a lie. His love is real, but people kept telling him it wasn't, so he started believing them. The story depicts these uncomfortable eroticism, lies, hypocrisy, and grossness of the human character to show the real courage it takes to love and form real bonds in our world. How we can lie to ourselves and lose who we are, but that is a part of love we must face to find the truth. Many people don't want the truth despite asking for it. They pay for lies and make up their own truth. And so the story leverages that framing to talk about its themes. How social media can make our bonds shallower. How rental represents that, but criticizes it too. Right? And the reason I specifically use this image is because she's a rental ranger fighting the money goon. Mommy's actions call back to the beach arc really early on, as she was literally making Kazuya look like a cheater by kissing him and trying to get him to break up with Chizuru, lying to herself. Ironic, considering they weren't dating then, but Chizuru was more trusting of Kazuya than Mommy was. This explains why the arc starts with the taxi driver telling Kazuya a story about infidelity. Exactly, that's the point. A story, assumptions, bias. It's why Chizuru goes to reject Umi. She wears clothes to avoid attention. It's the cost of Ruka wanting to be second. Every action has consequences. This is growing up. Kazuya is not aware of the consequences. Mommy and Ruka too. This ties perfectly to the Steins Gate reference, as one of its themes is deceiving the world to reach the perfect timeline, to grow up. Umi's photo might connect to that. You can see the ripple domino effect in the story. Kazuya doesn't talk to Chizuru, Minnie does. This leads Chizuru to reject Umi, which leads to Umi calling Kazuya to meet up, foreshadowed to Chizuru in chapter 287, not 288, where he tells Kazuya, "Oh, I have your phone number." And Chizuru sees that. Then Umi finds out about Ruka, talks to her, and then comes all the way back to Chizuru. Literally a ripple effect. As a byproduct of a choice Kazuya chose not to make and Minnie made for him, it came all the way back to this, and Umi finds out about Ruka. These choices not only ensured Umi's involvement, but also set the July 11th date in stone. When Kazuya didn't contact Chizuru, her manager called. Chizuru contacted Umi, which led to him contacting Kazuya, who, like Ruka, came all the way back around and resulted in Kazuya calling Chizuru to confirm July 11th. Their actions, or lack thereof, resulted in this scenario. Another example is Kazuya and Ruka. Kazuya knew he needed to do something about Ruka, but put it off. She saw his keys, got to hold them, and then wanted to replace them with her keychain, and then she was going to toss Chizuru's keychain. Kazuya grabs it, and then what happens right afterwards? He gets bumped by, what's his name, that stupid kid from that one cartoon, and then he drops the keys. All right, he drops Chizuru's keychain specifically, and they fall between Ruka's legs, resulting in Ruka's sexual awakening, which results in where we are now. It results in Umi finding out, because Kazuya chose to not appreciate Chizuru and not appreciate Ruka. It resulted in Ruka's sexual awakening and him being treated like crap. It's like time travel, creating a butterfly effect that ripples through time and causes events. Kazuya talks about the Great Wave in 426. Ruka looks at the water ripples when thinking of her choices in 433. Umi's name means ocean. Mizuhara and Ichinose are both water names. And just like time travel deals with actions having consequences, so too do the characters' actions impact those around them. Like Kazuya getting in the way of Chizuru's acting in trying not to, or Minnie trying to guarantee their relationship and in so doing, dooming it, playing God. I wrote a thread about Minnie and how her Evangelion hoodie reflects her role, trying to play God and control the scenarios, like a time traveler rewinding time to make different choices. But she is a fool who doesn't know the consequences of her actions. As for Umi, like I mentioned earlier, in chapter 288, there was a hint about him calling Kazuya when he is rejected by there's a hint about him calling Kazuya when he is rejected by Chizuru, since he confessed right after. What is interesting, though, is how he talks about Chizuru's career. This connects to my theory about a possible scandal for her. All right, so what does he tell her here? Have you talked to Frisia, your talent agency? It's not their place to comment on your personal life, but you're an up-and-coming actress now. I imagine they'd have a few recommendations for risk management. What are the odds that now that Umi's talking to her again, her manager's right fucking there, and it just happens to be right after he interacted with Ruka? What are the fucking odds? And the next chapter is called Manager. In the cohabitation, there are a few hints about this as well. For instance, Chizuru's neighbor who gossips, asking about Kazuya, right? This lady, Tamaki-san. Chizuru's comparison to her mom, who had many lovers. Chizuru trying to be seen, Chizuru trying not to be seen, trying not to be seen, compromised by her neighbor so rumors don't spread. Chizuru took a lot of risks for Kazuya, seeing him behind Ruka's back despite the guilt, letting him live with her despite how it could impact not only her acting career but even the costing her rental job. She pays for everything alone. She's risking her entire future for him. There are a whole lot of hints that could connect to this, pieces that make more sense when we get the context. It's not about what's real or not, but what people perceive as real, and how that blinds us to the truth, just as we are blind to these characters and the story's direction now. So, Andrew over here said, just the fact that he was a former client is potentially a big problem because it creates a scandalous perception of how she handled her job in general. That's a part of it for sure, but then you can also question Kazuya's character and thus target him too. Since he is around all these beautiful girls, he has no business being around. Chizuru may talk to her manager about it next chapter. This tracks. I guess the only question I have is if there will be a course correction, maybe after the warning, or if there's going to continue as the slow motion car crash we've seen since chapter 386. Probably after stuff happens. Like Steins Gate, they gotta deceive the whole world, or something along those lines, to get back on the right track. But first, their worst fears have to manifest, and they gotta be a lie. Ruka and Kazuya is one for Chizuru. So one of Chizuru's fears, absolutely, is Kazuya having something happen with Ruka, right? Minnie definitely embodied that fear, right? Minnie literally embodied that fear. She was literally telling Chizuru, hey, what if someone steals him from you? And then Umi is like, hey, so he had sex with this girl. By that context, right? By that context, literally Ruka stole him. And that's dumb. And Chizuru has to face that and recognize it's fucking dumb because it's blinding her to the truth that Kazuya was sexually assaulted. It blinds her to the truth that Kazuya was sexually assaulted. Because she's so busy worried that Ruka might steal him, ignoring the fact that Ruka's ignoring his feelings. Oh, Ruka's more in love. Boo fucking who? He doesn't love her. Boo fucking who? He does not love her. Start talking about Kazuya's feelings. It's the same mistake Chizuru is making with Mami, where because Chizuru is not around, Mami's getting closer to Kazuya. Right? Because Chizuru is not around, Minnie is speaking for her. Minnie is saying things for her. She's not saying it herself. So she can't communicate to him if she's not around. In choosing not to be around, other people are deciding things for her. She doesn't have a choice. That's Chizuru's biggest mistake, in my opinion. That in not understanding love is in many ways about presence, she doesn't recognize the mistake she's making, right? And Kazuya, it's kind of the flip. It's similar, but kind of the flip, where, yeah, it's about presence, but what he's not recognizing is that in changing himself, he's changing his importance in her life, or maybe his role in her life, you know? And making all these changes and not telling her about it, it's impacting that. Now, I'm still struggling a little bit with Chizuru, like, in particular, the love aspect and how her love is changing in contrast to how Kazuya is changing. I still need to iron that out. Like, how is Chizuru's love changing? Besides, you know, her not being there, so other people interpret her love for her. So maybe that's what it is, right? Rather than Chizuru's feelings changing negatively, they're changing positively, but how they're seen is changed negatively. Maybe that's what it is. It's how Chizuru's feelings are seen that's being changed negatively. Specifically because she's not here to advocate for them. That could be it. And that mirrors how Kazuya is physically changing. Right? While Kazuya is physically changing in front of us, how we perceive Chizuru is changing. How we perceive Chizuru's feelings is changing because other people are speaking for them. And that matches perfectly with Ruka and Mami because we're perceiving Mami completely differently. And in the same way, Ruka is kind of like starting to wobble too. So yeah, that's kind of roughly the thread I had. I had more things written, but not here. I wrote them in the background. I have like a whole Google Docs I wrote that is kind of unorganized, to be honest. I would have to kind of organize it a little bit. Like, it's pretty disorganized. I think it's this one. Maybe it's Looming Feeling. Yeah, I gotta organize it. I don't know which one it is. Okay, so it's 8:05 now. I'm gonna call it here. I'd love to start sooner tomorrow. So that way we don't we can get into more stuff. and I'd like to maybe finish some of my analysis for tomorrow so we can kind of transition to video games a little bit while I write some things in the background. I'm going to be writing some stuff in the background and working on the emotes in the background too. But yeah, let me read some of the comments. So let's go to YouTube. I think about Umi, because we're operating on presumptions that Kazi and Chizuru will not end up together on the date. We're talking here, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter if Japanese fans are saying the same thing. That's, if anything, that shows that that's the mistake. You think they're not going to meet together in the date. That doesn't mean they're not. If anything, Reiji making them meet and then still fucking with you is a much better direction. I find it very similar. I will always gonna love you. Line in La La Land and Kazuya will always love Chizuru even after a million years. Yeah, totally similar. Chizuru opens up on a very difficult setting. The people will understand. I think Chizuru needs to figure out more about why Kazuya is afraid of her. There were signs that she didn't notice. For example, before the Hawaiian arc, Minorca attacked Kazuya and ran out of his apartment. Chizuru will be in front of him. Yeah, so pretty much I talked about this. Joy says the girl that brings up joy and happiness. Mizu is the girl that brings blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. The character Chizuru is portraying the average American Karen. No wonder she is so exhausted. She's not portraying it. I don't think you know what a Karen is. That's not a Karen. A mean girl is not a Karen. That's a very different thing. A mean girl is like, ooh, Stacy. Ooh, Queen Bee. Ooh, it's fucking Betsy. Mean girls are the Victorias. They're not the Karens. The Karens are basic bitches. The Victorias got some sauce. The Victorias, the Stacys, the cool girls got some sauce. Karens have no sauce. Karens fucking suck. Karens got no sauce, dude. They just suck. The internet keeps spreading the lie. Yeah, that's what they do. If that happens, then would Chizuru be replaced immediately? No, they can't really replace her. It's too late. It's more of just about... It's less that Chizuru will be replaced and more she'll lose opportunities in the acting business, or could lose opportunities in the acting business based on how she's perceived. Now, many actors have recovered from these things. It's absolutely doable. It's mostly about the perception of the media. So that's going to be possibly an important part to play. But how are they going to get info on Mini, Sumi, and Mami? They'll just follow Kazuya. They can, it's not that hard to track people, unfortunately. It's not that hard to track people, unfortunately. I really loved your thread. You're noticing the water all the characters are swimming in. I think you can see it all heading to a point, but the ultimate conclusion still feels elusive. But once we get there, you'll already understand it's happening. Yeah. Another thing that makes this so hard to decipher is that there are literally 6 or so different storylines from the characters happening simultaneously, and they're all interconnected. Yeah. I definitely, there's things I did not talk about. There's things I definitely did not talk about. I did not delve into this chapter in detail and like Chizuru looking like a horror character, or the importance of that, or the characters appearing certain ways. I wrote something to, I responded to a comment the other day, and I felt like I wrote something really good. So I would like to read that next time, not today. I responded to a comment. I'll read that next time. I feel like I kind of wrote something pretty good. I kind of felt like I ironed out some of the themes about this week's chapter. But I'll read that next time. It's a bit on the long side. But that means I'm way off since still there's so much left. So I think a pretty firm understanding of like 3 of them. But that means I'm way off of still. So yeah, I mean, I feel like for everything we also understand a whole lot less than we think. So there's that, you know. I think for me, I try to approach it with what I do know, like for a fact, and what I what I may not actually know. You know, I try to tell myself I don't know. And even when someone says something I don't agree with, I'm just like, okay, in my head, I'm like, okay, let's try to explore it. But what I'm saying is like, okay, I'm gonna be like careful about that. I don't know if this is real or if this is like assumptions and stuff. Anywho, thank you guys for tuning in. Maybe I'll give you guys more incentive to sub on Twitch once I put the emotes out for YouTube and Twitch. Yeah, well, I'll work on that. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Oh my god, you guys can barely see me. I am invisible. I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice how dark it was. I'm invisible, bro. I'm a fucking ninja. I'm a goddamn ninja. You can't see shit. Oh, you can kind of see me when the... Okay, you can kind of see me when it's like this. You can kind of see me when it's like this. Someone should have said something. Why none of you fuckers say anything? I'm fucking invisible. Nobody said anything. I'm goddamn invisible. Whatever. You know, maybe that's the charm of my stream. Maybe that's the charm of my stream. Oh, wow. My Superman shirt is like... Because it's yellow, it's perceiving it as green. So you can see through me. You can see through me. Cuz, lol. Shut up. Shut up. Fuck off. Okay. Great stream, lol. Green screen Superman. Hell yeah. Green screen Superman. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Hope it was fun. And bye-bye.